Hello. Yesterday I got a question on LinkedIn to create a chart like this. And of course I could upload a PBX, but I thought this time why not create a video on how to do it. So yeah, bear with me. This is my first video. The purpose is to change this bar chart with limited information to this bar chart with the information about the sales this year and last year and whether the change is positive or negative. And it takes some steps, but yeah, let's get started. So let's start by hiding this one, and let's insert or let's simply copy this one. And now on the y-axis we have category, and the x-axis is sales units. And I didn't, let's see if we move the screen a little bit and narrow it down so you can see all. Okay, so what we need to do is actually to have two bars where one of them is invisible. So let's start by adding the sales unit one more time. And if we do that, we will have 2 times, and that doesn't really work. So let's add a visual calculation, call this units, and that should be equal to sales units. This will give us 2 bars in our visual, where we can use the first one here to show a data label that we will construct. We also need to remove the y-axis. So if we hide the values, we can't really see the category name, but we'll put that in our data label. So let's go to the bars and then say the sales units, which is the first one, that should be completely transparent. And we'll change the color of our lower bar to this one. So now we have a hidden bar here where we can modify the data label. So let's put on data labels, and this will, in my theme, be added to the end. I do not want it on this one, but this data label should not be positioned at the end. It should be positioned at the inside base. And I should pick the right one because it's sales units and inside base. So now we have the default data label here. Now we want the name of the category and some other information into our value. So in value here, you can see the default is the actual value. So I've constructed a measure here called category data label, where I first find out what is the selected value of product category. That will give me the name of category. Then I take what I call the value and format that. It is a string, sales unit is a number, and I need to format that so it looks nice, and I need 1,000 separator. Then I also use the last year and format that in order to put that in the text as well. And then a little trick here about the change. I format the calculation of sales unit minus sales unit here, where I then construct a format string where the green dot is positive values, the red dot is negative values, and the blue dot is 0. And then I return the combination of category, put in this year and a hyphen, and then the value from up here, and put in the text last year, add the value last year, and then a space, and then show the dot for the change. Put that in. that is the calculation, and I add that to the value field. Now you can see that we can only see it on the first half, and some of the text is actually cut off. Now, how can we modify this? So if we go in here and optimize label display, we can actually change the width of our value, but that only sorts some of it. So let's also hide the background, and we still can't see this because the text is too long, so by default it will narrow it down. The issue here is actually that the bar for sales units, let's put it in here, just show it. You can see the bar is only this width, so when we are modifying the data label, it can't really show the full text. Now that means that what if we, instead of using the sales unit, actually calculated the highest or the longest bar and put that in on all the rows and then change the color there? And we can do that by, instead of using the actual sales units, we can add another calculation where we calculate the max bar value, and that should be equal to max x over the rows, i.e. in this case the category, and we want the sales units, and this will give us the highest value of all the rows, in this case computers, 2140 on all the rows. And you can see now we have a bar that is the same length as the total value for all, and that will give us room for our data label. Now in this case I want now to put the max bar value up here. I want to hide the sales units. I want to put in our data label in max, not on this one. So we need to go down to data labels here and units. That is not, yeah, that is the right one. So let's show this again, and then we need to modify. This one shouldn't show anything. Max bar value should show, that is the top one. The value should not be this one, it should be the category data label. It should be inside base, meaning that it will go to the left. I do not want to show the sales value, and we are getting a bit closer. Now you can see we have the text value here. I also need to make sure that I overflow the text. I optimize the label display and set the maximum width to 400. And now I have a visible value for all. And now we can go to the bars and up here set the transparency to 100. And now we can sort the axis on the units. And we have the top one at top, and we have information in the bar here. Let's hide the background. We might also want to hide the values down here. So let's go to x-axis, hide the values. We're getting closer. We can remove the legend and have this one, and now we can add a title called total sales by category. And if we wanted a subtitle where we calculated the total value across all the categories, we could do that as well. Let's put in a divider just to have some extra space. It should have some padding here. That's at least what I like. And this could, here where I want the total sales units, for instance. Now, as you can see, we do have an fx, so I need to calculate it. So we can do that by adding a tooltip value and use visual calculations. Now we want this number to be present at the top, so let's calculate that. Total sales units. And how can we calculate that? Yeah, we could use different patterns. So let's have a look at what if we collapse and we calculate the sales units. Just finish that. That doesn't work, so that won't work. We need to specify what is collapsed. We want to collapse the rows. And as you can see now, we get the total sales value on all rows. But if we add something to the subtitles, we need to control what's on the total line here. So now you can see we have the correct number, 8,699. We can, as we do want to put it in the title, that should be text. So, and we probably also want to format it. So we format this one and use this one like this. Now it's text, and we need to make sure that the total sales unit here is not as formatted as data type. This is a minor bug in visual calculations. We say it's text, and now we can go to subtitles, use the conditional formatting, pick the number, click OK, and we have the number up here. And now we can switch between the different years and see how the progress in the different categories. Hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, congrats to me for my first video.